Well, folks, I just wanted to let y'all know that the next couple of videos I'm going to be making here on the channel is going to be talking more about this authoritarian nightmare that we now find ourselves living in. And no, this is not me trying to be hyperbolic. And the truth of the matter is, it never was. Back during the election cycle, I got accused a whole lot of being hyperbolic. People would say that I was just trying to get people worked up and get people living in fear. And they'd say, oh man, Trump would never do that. Oh man, they wouldn't let him do that. And I printed out Project 2025, and I would sit and read it in videos, read it during live streams. I would invite people on the show to sit and talk with me to get a better understanding of it. We showed videos of the authors of Project 2025 sitting behind closed doors on hidden cameras, sitting there saying, yeah, we know that Trump has to distance himself from us. We know that he can't admit to being part of us. We know he's just saying that right now. But once we get him through the door, he will do everything that we ask him to do. He will push our agenda. We showed that, we got accused of being hyperbolic, and now we're in the fuck around and find out portion of the story. And these are videos I never wanted to be bringing you, but here we are. Now, one thing that Donald Trump has always had a problem with is criticism. And he found a way early on to brainwash his flock into believing that anything that anyone spoke negatively of him would be fake news. And he rode that forever. And now he's going even further, accusing these networks that disagrees with him of being arms of the DNC, accusing them of election interference, and accusing them of being the enemy from within. So he's once again really upset at MSNBC because they're talking about his tariffs, and they're talking about how bad they're going to be, and pretty much every economist and every expert on the subject says it's going to get worse. And he doesn't want people to hear that. So let's go now to this article here from MidasNews.com. And this one was written by J.D. Wolf. Trump attacks MSNBC over tariff coverage, calls network a major campaign violation. Frustration grows as Trump's tariff promises don't materialize. And folks, before we keep going, that's pretty much where we're at. The promises he made on the campaign trail aren't happening. People are pointing that out, and these tariffs are not bringing those promises, and he's cornered now. So the only thing he can do is lash out at this network. Right here, Trump lashed out at MSNBC on Friday morning, accusing the network of spreading deliberate falsehoods about his tariff policies. In a post on Truth Social, Trump claimed MSNBC's reporting was so misleading that it should be considered a major campaign violation. And he went on to label the network as an arm of the Democratic National Committee. Now, before I even read his ridiculous post here, he wants to accuse MSNBC of being an arm of the DNC. What does he call Fox News and Newsmax? What's that? Is that fair and balanced? I mean, Fox News had to come out and admit that they lied. They had to pay. They had to pay money because they lied. They had to admit that their viewers should not take them seriously. And he wants to sit and accuse MSNBC of this. I don't watch MSNBC. But if you're going to accuse them of this and then turn to Fox News and say they're the ones that's fair and balanced, you're truly delusional. But here was his post. MSNBC, the worst there is on television misrepresentation, is so far knowingly off in their statements about me and tariffs that it should be considered a major campaign violation. They are nothing less than an arm of the Democratic National Committee, and their untruths are incredible, real losers. Their ratings are down, and down the tubes, but that pressure on them doesn't give them the right to lie and cheat. This coming from the 34-time convicted felon, talking about lying and cheating and accusing people of being an arm. It's so ridiculous. So the post comes amid mounting scrutiny of Trump's tariff proposals, which have roiled markets and drawn bipartisan concern over their impact on American consumers. Trump's tirade is the latest in a series of escalating attacks on media outlets critical of his administration and 2024 campaign. Without citing specific examples, Trump accused MSNBC of lie and cheat tactics and mocked the network's ratings, saying they were down the tubes. The network has aired multiple segments in recent weeks scrutinizing Trump's tariff plans, particularly their projected inflationary effects and potential trigger retaliatory measures from key trade partners. So again, he accuses people of lying and cheating, and he never has any receipts. He never brings any evidence to back any of that up. He just says they're lying and cheating, and he always attacks their ratings because remember, he said it's all about ratings. And so he always tries to downplay them, to insult them, to accuse them of lying and cheating, but he never can point out how. And he says that they're a major campaign violation and they're election interference, and they're just the enemy from within. So if he's going to go after and attack MSNBC, I guess he's going to have to go after every economist that says he's full of shit. He's going to have to go after every journalist, every content creator, every YouTuber. I mean, that's pretty much what it's going to come down to. And I guess he's going to have to go after Gavin Newsom and Fox for sharing this ad. Take a look.
California is now the fourth largest economy in the world. Innovation, manufacturing, agriculture. And we've done it by reducing trade barriers and delivering for American consumers. But the Trump administration is putting all of that at risk, halting delivery of essential goods through our ports. Today, it's school backpacks. In a few months, it'll be Christmas toys. These tariffs punish families and risk ending America's run as the world's greatest economy. Take it from California. We're the ones leading it.
So yeah, Fox aired that, and they also aired Gavin Newsom talking more about it. Take a look.
My fear is, it's not my fear, it's the reality. We've seen 11% decline last month in tourism in the state of California. We're projecting after record-breaking tourism spend, we're seeing the impacts already of this tariff war. We're seeing the impacts with dock workers. We're seeing the impacts with truckers, with small businesses, with my own eyes. This is not an intellectual exercise. So if it wasn't so chaotic, I would at least engage in a very, I think, reasonable conversation about addressing those issues with a little bit more muscularity. But this is recklessness. And I cannot impress upon you, you know this, the impacts can't be unwound quickly and easily. And I fear that Geneva is not going to be a success. It needs to be. I'm promoting that success, but I very much fear that the nature of the decision-making that seems to come on news cycles, not on the basis of a grand strategy, is the great impediment in terms of getting to the place we all want to go.
So I guess now Donald Trump is going to have to go after Fox News. He's also going to have to go harder in the paint on Gavin Newsom. And he's also going to have to go harder in the paint on his own people who can't do a good job explaining this. Watch this dude just absolutely stutter every way from Sunday when he's asked who pays the tariffs. He cannot answer it. Take a look.
Answer the questions I asked, please. I only have 5 minutes. Who pays tariffs?
Sorry? Well,
who pays tariffs?
Sorry,
Mr. Secretary, please.
Excuse me.
The question is very simply, who pays tariffs, Mr. Chairman? I'd like him to answer that question.
Well,
he wants to answer other questions.
Well, Congressman, if the exporters, dislike tariffs so much, why wouldn't they? If I think what you're trying to get me to say.
Did you remember the question? I'm not sure you did. Who pays tariffs?
It's a very complicated question.
Reclaiming my time. People pay tariffs, right? Reclaiming my time, Mr. Secretary. Reclaiming my time, Mr. Secretary. Reclaiming my time. You clearly aren't going to answer it. I'm not going to waste my time having you go, Mr. Secretary, reclaiming...
Yeah, folks, that was a total disaster. And the one thing going through my head as I was sitting there watching him stammer and stutter and just get confused and get completely lost and not answer the question was, if any of us had have ever answered a question like that on any job we ever held, we would have been walked to the time clock, fired, and told to go to the house. And if you'd have been sitting during an interview and they asked you a question about the job you were going to be doing, and that was your performance in the interview, you would sit by the phone for the rest of your life and it would not ring and they would not be calling you in to the job. But Donald Trump is upset because he's not able to deliver on the campaign promises. Truth of the matter is he never really was going to follow through on any of those things. The only thing that he was ever going to follow through on are the things that we tried to warn you about. he was absolutely intending on following through with all the stuff that you accuse us of being hyperbolic about. And now we see him going after networks. Now we see him locking up officials. We see him locking up judges, locking up mayors. We're going to be talking more about that. We're going to be talking more about the raids that are happening where people aren't getting their due process, and they're saying we're just going to have to do away with that and just put that on hold for now. And everything that we tried to warn people about is now coming true, and it is not fun to sit here and flex and say, you fucked around and now you're finding out. But guess what? They fucked around and now they're finding out. That's exactly where we're at. So we will keep covering it. We will keep calling it out. And he will continue to break every promise except for terminating the Constitution and being a dictator on day one. Those are the things he meant to do. Those are the things that Project 2025 wanted him to do. And they said, all we got to do is get him through the door and he will do exactly what we say. He's doing exactly what they say. So, again, it's not fun to flex, but I do appreciate everyone's support here on the channel. We're cruising right along, headed toward 800,000 subscribers. That's pretty hard for me to wrap my head around, considering I'm sitting in a town of like 9,000 people. But I truly do appreciate you, and we'll get to 1 million before the end of the year. I do believe it, so I hope everyone has a great Mother's Day, and yeah, just keep moving forward, folks. We're in for the long haul. We weren't trying to be hyperbolic. We were just trying to point out the obvious, and now we're here.